And we're going live on YouTube right now.
All right, go ahead whenever you're ready.
All right. Just for sakes, we'll go. What is going on, everybody? It's Wednesday. You know what that means. It's late night Reds talk. We are here as the Reds are in a rain delay against the San Diego Padres, who I can't wait to kick out of town. No offense, Carlos. I cannot wait to never see the Padres ever again, hopefully, because it's just not fun as a Reds fan. We're excited for this show as Joey Votto tonight has had his 1,000th career RBI, and once again, people are fighting about his contract. But let's be positive, folks. Let's have a good time. I'm Tim Daniel. My three-man rotation, as always, myself, Nicholas Kirby.
What's going on?
How are you, man?
Just living the grind here, the Reds baseball grind.
I feel you. I feel you. As always, former big league pitcher, former Padre and Red. So this is watching his kids go against each other, basically. Carlos Guevara, what's up, buddy?
What's going on, guys? How are y'all?
Good. Are you just still hoping everyone's having fun?
I just hope everybody stays healthy and has a good time out there.
That's right. Absolutely. And really excited for our guest this week. If you check out Reds Content Plus, he is a big time writer there. This is Matt Wilkes, who we found out right before we got on there, just moved to Chicago, Illinois. So went to Cubs country. So Matt, welcome to the show. How you doing, man?
I'm pretty good. I'm in hostile territory now, so I've got to get used to that. Can't wear my Reds gear quite as much, but you got to flaunt it a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So are you are you more north side?
Yeah. I'm kind of
Okay.
right in the heart of north side.
Gotcha. Yeah. So my aunt used to live there, so I used to visit Lincoln Park all the time. So not the band for those who don't know Chicago area, but
yeah. So I'm maybe a 15-minute walk from Lincoln Park. So
oh, cool, awesome.
Yeah,
awesome. Well, man, we're excited to have you on. I know we want to kind of touch on a lot of news with the Reds and everything going on. Obviously, like we mentioned, they're currently in a bit of a rain delay with the Padres, so we're keeping an eye on our phones to see when they'll come back on to play. But guys, another crazy week of Reds baseball where, you win one, you lose one, you win one, you lose one. But we've had some moments. Obviously, Nick Castellanos in the Phillies game for that makeup hit the grand slam, has a homer tonight. Joey Votto has a solo shot tonight for RBI 1,000. You got a decent series with the Braves where, once again, you win one, you lose one, you win one, you lose one, which has been an ongoing theme for this team. So in your guys' eyes, why can't this team put a win streak together or a losing streak together? Why is it one or the other right now?
That's the $1 million question. Some of it's the bullpen, some of it's just, baseball. If the Reds were at full strength, probably, this team was probably at best at a high 80s win team. So they're probably gonna most nights win every other game. So, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're hanging around. We'll just have to see how the season plays out. It's going to be a weird second half. There's going to be a lot of injuries. We're seeing it all over baseball. So, if you keep hanging around, you're going to give yourself a chance this year, I think. So we'll just have to kind of, see how things play out.
Yeah, they're just like Nick said, they're just in the middle of a baseball season. That's the way it goes. Lose 6, you win 6, you lose 8, you win 8. It's just up and down roller coaster. You just got to weather the storm and be there in August and late August and September.
Yeah, I think like Nick said, obviously the bullpen's a big thing. And Matt, I'm sure over at the Reds Content Plus, I'm sure you guys just have an insurmountable amount of bullpen articles that you guys discuss, right?
We've tried to avoid talking about it. It's too painful, but yeah, we have a few. And it's just like beating a dead horse. Bob won't spit on the bullpen. Tired of writing about that. So it's just kind of gotten old at this point. We all know the bullpen's bad. We all know the problems. It's just going to be on the on the front office to go out and actually do something to fix it. And it's no guarantee that any trade is going to be the magic bullet, but it's like Nick Kroll said, when you're running out waiver claims, you're going to win some, going to lose some, and the Reds have lost most of them in the bullpen.
I feel like that is the quote of the year. Like that should just be like on a wall somewhere.
That's not the quote of the year you want.
I agree with you. Completely agree with you. But it seems like it's like anytime like Ashton Godot comes in and like gives up like a double, you see people like quote that and like write that tweet out and quote it and retweet it again. It's like, yeah, I know.
I feel in a way it's kind of like brought like Reds Nation back together again. Like, the Brennan men spent so much time dividing everybody. Now everybody's all back together. Like, yes, our bullpen. Yes, they suck. Yeah, they suck. Damn it. Like we're all in pain together.
Yeah, there's that, and then there's like anytime like anybody, just anyone, to like, can that guy play shortstop? Like Alejo Lopez comes up, it's like, can he play shortstop? I'm like, if I remember correctly, looking at his numbers, I think he had like 70 innings at shortstop his whole time in the minors. It wasn't much,
and none of them were in 2021.
Yeah, right.
Not a single one. Not even not one. Not a And in the minor leagues, a lot of times these guys end up playing a weird position just because of weird things that happen. Right, Carlos? Like, don't guys end up at positions for an inning or two just because they're
especially like in his case, if they thought it was an idea, they would have given him innings at shortstop in AAA. Like, but I mean, that'll tell you right away that's not an option. He didn't get any there, so that's not an option.
And I know that's like kind of the hot topic is like the Reds need a better shortstop than Kyle Farmer, but I don't think they just need to throw someone out there.
Right.
That's not what is really like holding this team back. What's holding them back is not scoring runs. What's holding them back is run prevention. So if you put in a shortstop that is going to be a bad defensive player, that's going to hurt your run prevention. The biggest problem that we had, I honestly fully believe a lot of Luis Castillo's problems early in the year was the bad shortstop defense from Suarez. You saw it on opening day. It happened several other times. And, those kind of things snowball. When you already have a small margin of error with your pitching staff, you can't add it for what at best a marginal, improvement. Either get a real shortstop or just keep running Kyle Farmer out there every day. He'll be an average defensive shortstop and it at least not hurt you there.
Yeah, Matt, what is your take on that? Your kind of discussion in regards to the shortstop debacle as well?
Yeah, I think I would echo kind of what Nick said. I think, if Gino was hitting, I think you could overlook the defense a little bit, but he's not. And the defense has been worse than the offense, which has been bad. So I think, Kyle Farmer's your best option right now. He's going to at least play solid defense, maybe slightly above average. And that's going to be better than the alternative. He's hitting about as well as Eugenio Suarez is this year, which is sad to see. I know we all love Gino, but I don't think he's an option at shortstop moving forward. Does that mean the Reds won't play him there again when Moustakas comes back? Probably not. But I think Kyle Farmer's your best bet unless a trade is made or Jose Barrero comes up.
Yeah, he got called up to Louisville. And then there's obviously also the Nick Senzel debacle of, he's played multiple positions now. Does he just kind of become like ultra utility man when he comes back too? Is that the thought process we all have?
Yeah, I feel like they're just going to find him games to play anywhere from second to, I don't know how much third he'll play in the outfield. Like, I don't think he's going to be a high priority to get into games when he gets back.
Yeah, especially the way like India's doing, how well India's doing and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he probably draws some center field starts against lefties. Against righties, it's going to be hard to get him in the lineup with everyone healthy, unless Tyler Naquin just stops hitting.
Don't say that around Nick.
Sorry, Nick.
I think Tyler Naquin also has a really bad track record with injuries. As does, no one wants to hear it, as does Jesse Winker. So, I don't know if I'd worry about where Nick Senzel's going to play. When he comes back, there'll probably be somewhere for him to play. When Moustakas comes back, there'll probably be somewhere for him to play. Even if Kyle Farmer's playing shortstop, I just, there's going to be so many injuries this year. I think we're just scratching the surface on it. And I don't know, it could be either, it could really tank the Red season, or it could save the Red season if it happens to other teams. As you look at a team like the Brewers right now, look incredible. But they have just kind of come across a really, really cake schedule. Their run differential's not super high, but there may be a one key injury away from one of their top starters or relievers from things kind of falling back to them too. So it's going to be one of those, I think, wait and see seasons, and whoever has the fewest injuries might be the team that ends up on top.
That's the story of the NBA this year.
Yeah.
The Suns are about to go to the finals, and it's like, I think also kind of, it makes you appreciate a team like, Nick, where you live, like the Indians. Right now they're down Plesac and Bieber. They're 3 games out of first in the AL Central. Like, they've weathered this storm. They figured out how to win with all this. Like, pretty impressive.
Yeah. I can't say that I've watched them a ton this year, but yeah, there's a lot of fluky records, like the Twins record being so terrible. Like, we all thought they would be a competitive team, and the Braves, we just saw the Braves, they've been really, really decimated with injuries, but that's just kind of one of those teams that, they've had everything go wrong. So yeah, it's been a weird season in baseball, and I think it's going to get weirder.
I think you're right. So yeah, we're about to be this is game 80 of the year, the 79 for the Reds. Sorry, they're 39 going to tonight. So this Cubs series, they'll have passed the halfway mark. So, like you said, they're hanging in there. They're only they're 7.5 out at the moment, but they also haven't completed this game. So basically probably what's going on there is just, figuring that out. But let's kind of move forward real quick. Let's talk about the other things I know everyone's talking about and excited. So we now know that tomorrow is the All-Star selection show, and the Reds are still have 2 of the top 3 voters in the All-Star break for National League outfield, and Jesse Winker and Nick Castellanos. So I think, the speculation here is it still feels like that those 2 are going to make it. I do laugh at all the articles that are coming out where people are like, do we really need 2 Reds starting, and everyone just going haywire on them? I love that shit. Keep doing it, Reds fans. Keep doing it.
Give us this. Come on, just give us this. Like,
exactly. So at this point, I don't know if I want to go the route of like, do you think it's going to happen? Because I think at this point, it feels like it's just about set, unless someone makes some crazy run tomorrow, like Mookie Betts or something. But, because apparently he needs to be starting in the All-Star game, according to said article. But, your guys' thoughts there, the 3 of you, about the Reds potentially having 2 starters, not just in the outfield, but 2 starters in general in the All-Star game. It's pretty cool. What's not cool, though, is those terrible jerseys. They're really bad.
Those are so bad.
Bring us back to where they were a regular uniform, because that's the best thing about the baseball All-Star game compared to everybody else.
Yeah, I don't really care what the batting practice jerseys look like. Those are always look awful. But
right, they're terrible.
Why would you not have them wear their normal jerseys? Just one of the, like you said, it's one of the awesome things of the All-Star game is, so many times for us, it was our one guy,
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I think the Reds have actually been pretty fortunate with how many selections they've had. They had some really bad years where they had like 3 or 4 guys, 2015.
Yeah. 2011, Scott Rowland was like the 7th alternate and ended up starting.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't get that. I hope that was just a ploy to sell bad jerseys and they'll cave. I don't know. But yeah, I think it'd be awesome to have 2 starters. I mean, I think that's just such a cool thing. It's not something, especially 2 starters in the outfield. Like, it's not like it's a third baseman and a catcher or something like, these are like 2 of the 3, starting outfielders. And, outfielders right now, like with Soto and Acuna, I mean, there's a lot of really, really good outfielders.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
it's go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I mean, it's cool. I can't remember the last time two outfielders from any team have started in the All-Star game. I'm sure it's probably happened recently, and I just can't remember. But and for it to be two Reds is pretty cool, and they actually deserve it. It's not like some huge voting push for someone who doesn't deserve to be there. Year in and year out, we used to see Derek Jeter get voted in, whether he deserved it or not, and that was kind of obnoxious for anyone who wasn't a Yankees fan. So, it's cool that Winker and Castellanos have earned it, and every other baseball fan seems to think so too, for the most part. Let's just hope that we hold off Mookie Betts, who everyone wants in the lineup for some reason. I don't know why aren't we making a big deal about like two Blue Jays in the lineup? Like, no one's like Vlad Guerrero Jr. deserves it. Marcus Semien deserves it.
I think Bo's in the final three for position too.
Yeah. It's weird. Same with the Red Sox, who the Reds are trying to team up and vote in. But, Devers and Bogarts are both at the top of their position, and no one seems to care about that. So it's weird. Feels like picking on the Reds. So
yeah, it's fun. It's exciting. I hope they get in. Looks like they will, like we all said. So something to look forward to, at least during the All-Star weekend.
Yeah. I think the last time there was two All-Stars, I don't know if it was the National League or just two in general in the outfield. I didn't get time to look through every single one, but I looked up the one that I think I heard. I think the last one was in 2008, and it was the Cubs with Alfonso Soriano and Kosuke Fukudome. I think it was either the last National League having two outfielders.
I helped get Soriano there. I gave up a 3-run bomb in the first half to him to help propel him into that starting lineup.
I liked him in left field, man. He played some awful defense. That was spectacular. That was Yonzer Alonso level defense out there.
I'm trying to think. Was there a year that Votto and Phillips started the same year? Was it 2012? Were they both starters that year?
I don't think so. I don't think they ever started. I know they played, they came off the
I know
bench.
they made them together. Yeah.
Votto's only started 2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's still hitless, right?
He has a homer. He got a homer in his last All-Star game.
He did?
Yeah.
Oh, that was Scooter Gennett.
No, Votto homer too.
Yeah.
Did he homer too?
That game. Yeah.
He did.
What?
Yeah, the year
2018, 2017.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Gennett's was the game tying with 2 outs in the 9th.
Oh, I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was fun. So I guess while Nick's looking that up, we'll go to we touched on it for a second earlier. Obviously Alejo Lopez, the new greatest phenomenon as they come up, and to Carlos's pleasure, Scott Heineman, who started the day before, got designated for assignment for that at bat.
Rest in peace, Scott.
Hey man, with Naquin out and Scott Heineman getting designated, your man Shogo's getting at bats now, and he's doing his slap hitting, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But with Lopez, we kind of talked about how everyone was like, well, this is that's the shortstop, and it's like he hasn't played shortstop in a long time, guys. We can't just throw someone over there. And like Nick and I talked about earlier in the show, but also I think it's cool that he's getting a shot, obviously, because he hit the ball very well. But the expectations seem to be a little higher than maybe they should be. Nick, I saw you kind of talking on Twitter earlier. You don't necessarily expect him to be, this super successful hitter at the major league level. Not saying we're wishing for him not to be, but it's pretty hard to see that being the case. I'm with you on that. I don't necessarily see him being, a 300 hitter at the major league level by any means. But Matt, if you I don't know how much of a deep dive you did to Lopez during his time getting ready, but do you have a more positive angle on this maybe than we are showing as far as the expectation?
I think you guys are kind of on the money, honestly. And I don't think he's going to be a bad player by any means. But I have seen people say the future has arrived, with, Alejo Lopez getting called up. And I'm like, what? He's obviously killed it in the minor leagues this year, but I don't think he's going to be the starting, second baseman, third baseman for the next, 5-10 years or something like that. I think he'll be a decent bench bat. he doesn't have a lot of power. Showed a little bit more this year in the minors. More doubles power than homers power, but he's hit pretty much at every stop. I think his only bad year was like maybe his second year of rookie ball off the top of my head, if I'm remembering right. So he'll hit for average, and he'll take his walks. So I think he can give you valuable ABs off the bench. He can fill in for Suarez and Indio when they need a day off. Suarez may need a few more days off, but we won't go into that. So I think
we will talk about it at some point tonight.
Yeah, it's the elephant in the room, but I think Lopez can probably hit at this level. But I don't think he's going to hit 350 like he has in AAA this year.
All right, so real quick, it was 2013, and Phillips and Votto did start batted lead off in third. 2012, Phillips actually did not make the All-Star team.
Yeah, that's right.
Even though a certain Reds beat writer said he was the Reds MVP that year. We won't name names. But on Lopez, like I think Matt's right. I mean, I think Lopez could hit close to 300 and still not be an above average hitter. It's really, really hard in the MLB level to hit above average without power. I kind of was doing a little bit of just, casual research, and there's only been like 8 players like over the last decade that had like less than 5 home runs that had an OPS plus above 100. It's really hard. And half of those guys had like double digit triples, which I don't think we're expecting Lopez to do that, especially, when he plays his home games at a triples death park, So yeah, it's nothing against Lopez. I think he's for what he is, I think he's as good as you could possibly be, and all the credit in the world to him. But it's hard to, if you're wanting to have the best players that can win you games, you need guys with power. And that's honestly probably why I'm not as high on Shogo as everyone else, because until he shows power, it's really hard to be an above average hitter. Doesn't mean like, Shogo and Lopez can't be, great contributors on the bench. And they're certainly going to be better than a lot of other guys that would be your fill-in guys. I certainly think Lopez has the potential to be a lot better than, someone like Alex Blandino was, who played like 50 games earlier this year. But it just, being an everyday starter, it's really, really, really hard.
Yeah, I think we also, when we talk about this, and I kind of like sit there and I have these like, trying to be optimistic moments. I also have to remember that Mark Payton got quite a few at-bats for the Reds this year in very important, like high leverage situations. So I'll take this.
Yeah, he's better than Mike Freeman. So you've already got an upgrade no matter what he does.
Yeah, Mike Freeman, man. Run out to get his baseball card.
A good comment. Sorry, I keep going back to this All-Star thing. Sidney Price, the last time 2 outfielders in any All-Star game was 2016, Jackie Bradley Jr. and Mookie Betts. So in case you were wondering and doing a deep dive on the internet, you can stop now. You now know. So
yeah. You also
thanks, Sydney.
You also mentioned Phillips starting in 2013 and everyone like loving him that year because he had Votto and Chu in front of him in the lineup.
Not a bad place to hit.
Yeah, wasn't terrible.
It's weird how that works.
Yeah, he was so clutch, guys. So clutch. I don't know. Should we get into the Geno thing? Should we touch on this, because I know it's getting louder.
Why not? Everyone's depressed tonight, anyways. You might as well just jump into it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's such a weird season. I tweeted earlier today. There's literally never been a player be this unproductive of a hitter hitting this many home runs. Like it's never happened before. So I don't know. I mean, is he just the unicorn? Is something going to give where he either stops hitting home runs, or is he gonna, start getting, back up to, production? He's like the worst version of Joey Gallo. Like he's like a bad version of Joey Gallo, where Joey Gallo is like a super low average, but he still has power and he still somehow finds a way to be an above average hitter. Like Suarez is just the bad version right now. And I don't know if he's pressing. I don't know.
Gino's given like some serious Mark Reynolds vibes this year, like that, like like that, like 280 on base with like 27, 28 home runs, like kind of thing going.
Yeah. The worst thing is just how few of walks he's taken. That's the killer for me. I don't know, Matt, you probably have some good thoughts on this.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, his walk rate has, I don't know if it's fallen in half from last year, but it's way down, and probably the lowest it's been since early in his career. And look at the numbers now. Yeah, it's his lowest walk rate since 2016. So that's killing him, because even when a guy struggles at the plate, you can still provide some value by taking the walks. You saw it a little bit with Shogo last year. Even when he wasn't hitting, he was still taking some walks, getting on base here and there. But Suarez really isn't doing that either. He's about league average, with his walk rate, which isn't terrible. But when you're also batting 173, it's not good. It's not good. And he's chasing more pitches out of the strike zone, which you don't want to see. And I don't know. It's hard to figure out, and it's hard not to question whether the shoulder injury last year is still having lingering effects. I mean, he hasn't said anything; it hasn't been reported, but he wouldn't be the first hitter whose career was kind of thrown off track by a shoulder injury. We've seen it with Austin Kearns back in the day, so it happens. I hope that he can figure it out, because he's vital to this team, and he's just not producing right now.
Carlos, I bring you into the conversation here because I love your pitching insight, and I think with the things you tell us that we learn in these conversations is always great. Matt made mention you're seeing Gino chase a lot out of the zone. Last night in his sombrero, I saw him strike out at a pitch really high above the strike zone. I saw him chase low and away. What are pitchers doing to him right now that are just getting him so confused?
I mean, they're just throwing their strikeout pitches when it's 0-1, when it's 1-0, because he's going to swing at them because he wants to get a hit so bad. That's when you have guys that are struggling, you really want to throw against them because they're not going to take the walk because they're dying to make something happen, especially if there's somebody on base. A lot can be forgotten whenever you drive a runner in. And so that's in the back of that hitter's head. And, being a pitcher who has to think a little bit more, you're kind of like, all right, well, now his zone's going to open up so I can nibble at the corners a little bit more. I can stretch the strike zone up and down. It just becomes a bigger home plate for you whenever you have a hitter that's struggling so bad and it's pressing so bad and, swinging and missing a lot. So
let's kind of go to, I kind of general question, because you talked a little bit about like the start of a series, you get the scouting report for the batters and the opposition. I'm sure like I know you get like heat maps and stuff like that, but I'm sure you're probably also getting, correct me if I'm wrong, like if you're still on the Padres and you guys are traveling to Cincinnati, you're on the plane over, you're getting something that tells you Eugenio Suarez is really slumping right now. JC Winker is 4 for his last 26 before his home run yesterday. Something to that matter, right? You have that in hand to be prepared, don't you?
Yeah, that's definitely not on the plane. Plane's party time, but no, it's before, you have the packets in your locker ready to go. You go over them before you go to the pitchers meeting. And you talk about those sorts of things. It's got everything broken down, what is Gino doing with runners on second and less than 2 outs? Is he swinging at the first pitch? Like, what's the percentage of that? And it's right there. And if it's something super high, then, that's, as a reliever, that's in your head. All right, first pitch breaking ball, he's swinging and missing 80% of the time. What are you going to throw? And you're not going to throw it for a strike. So it's like all that information was there, 15 years ago. Who knows what's really there now? So I'm sure they're well aware.
Yeah, like everyone said, like it just sucks. Just because like Nick said, it's like he's hitting homers, but everything else is kind of certainly struggling. I'm just curious your guys' thoughts, because I know the argument now is not, and some of it's just like, disgruntled Reds fans. We're all frustrated for sure, but the conversation is now coming up of I hate to say the word benching, but that's what a lot of people are tweeting out there. So is this just the angry Reds fans, or is this something we're leaning towards? Because I know we've all mentioned like maybe it's time for a few days off, but like, do you guys really agree that maybe it's time when Moustakas comes back that we'll bench him? Do you see like maybe this is a platoon for lefties versus righties? I don't know how you see, because I know the $1 million question has always been like, how do you handle when all the bats are back and healthy? But like Nick said, like there's been so many injuries that we just haven't had that. So how do you handle this Suarez thing going forward for the rest of the season?
I mean, it kind of depends on when Moose is coming back. I mean, is there even a
That's a
timetable
big
out
one.
yet?
Yeah. I mean, he's on the 60-day last I remember. And like he had a rehab stint and it ended early.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't think he's coming back anytime soon. Luckily, the All-Star break's coming up, so that's going to help. Other than giving him a couple of days, I don't think they can really. I mean, they can't really afford, to miss that home run opportunity there, because I mean, if you put Lopez there, I mean, he's going to play good defense and get you a couple of singles here and there, but the Reds kind of rely on that home run ball a lot. So I just don't see unless Moose comes back relatively quickly after the All-Star break. I mean, I think he's just going to keep getting his ABs and his starts at third base.
Yeah, I mean, I think if Moustakas was back, it's a much different conversation. But
Right.
There's not a team in baseball that would play Lopez over Suarez. You can say whatever you want. No one would do that, as much as people might want it. So, yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with them. Maybe giving Lopez 1 or 2 starts a week, maybe to try to give him some extra days off to relax, whatever. I'm fine with that. But yeah, if Moustakas came back tomorrow, it's a much different conversation. I mean, you might have to be looking at a platoon role for a while, although Suarez hasn't hit left-handed pitching this year either, but over the course of his career, he's been significantly better against left-handed pitching. So, maybe where Moustakas and Votto each split time off against lefties and Suarez only plays against, left-handed batters for a while. I don't know, but again, the problem's probably not going to be there because there's going to be more injuries to one of these guys at some point. And, I mean, it's good to have depth. I don't know if the depth right now feels as great as it is, but it is good to have it.
Yeah. I mean, you guys pretty much cover it. I could see maybe benching Suarez for a couple games, kind of like Votto last year, let him recalibrate, tweak some things. But I don't know. Votto's a different beast. Votto's amazing. He can make those adjustments on the fly. We've seen him do it time and time again. But Suarez has struggled for a long time now. Votto's struggles last year were just a month in the short season. So maybe that was due to kind of correct itself anyway in the last half of that season. But, we're going on 3 months now of Suarez really not figuring it out, aside from the occasional homer. So I don't know. I don't know if sitting him for a few days would do anything or not. But, with Lopez around, it gives you at least an option. You aren't going to bench, Suarez and play Mike Freeman every day. I don't even think I would watch the game if that happened.
No.
But yeah, I mean, I think you just got to ride it out. And then when Moustakas comes back, assuming everyone else is healthy, which is a big assumption that I probably shouldn't make, deal with it then. But Suarez isn't going to get benched permanently, much to the chagrin of a lot of my Twitter followers.
It's so weird because like everyone's like, man, he's just striking out so much, but he's really not striking out that much more than he was in 2019. We're talking 28.5 versus 30.9. I mean, that's not this massive like difference in strikeouts. It's just it's a lot of bad contact, maybe some bad luck sprinkled in. Whenever a player is this bad, I think it's a combination of a lot of things. It's not just simply they've been completely awful. It's they're swinging at bad pitches. They're making bad contact. When they do make the bad contact, it's bad luck. I think it's just a cluster of everything going wrong. And it's so weird. I don't know if last season was a fluke, but last season was his highest walk rate since 2017. Like we're talking 13% versus 8.8 this year. That's a big difference. So I don't know. I mean, I know everyone hated 2020 Suarez, but man, I would sign me up for 2020 Suarez right now. I mean, that was at least an above average hitter, in a weird way, not the way you would expect him to be, but he still, produced.
What was he batting last year? 4-hole?
He was kind of all over the place. I think they had him as low as like 6th, at some points. I don't know. I don't. It was kind of. I don't think he batted lower than 6. I think I looked it up earlier.
Yeah, I mean that probably has quite a bit to do with it as well, because he doesn't have anybody behind him right now. So pitchers are just going right at him. Last year, if he's batting 4th, then they had Moose behind him, or they were a little bit deeper last year, so that might have a little bit to play into it as well. Why that walks might be higher last year than what they are now.
It was he batted cleanup 45 times. So that out of a 60 game season, he was mostly cleanup. And then I think they moved him down to 6th when he was struggling for a while, but most of it was cleanup.
Yeah, and that's a good point that I had considered, Carlos. It's just who's batting behind him. I mean, there's a pretty big difference between Mike Moustakas and Kyle Farmer. So I'm sure that plays a role too.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some fun things, right? We've already gone through this whole thing. I think we're just kind of bummed because it's, the Reds against the NL West has been well documented. It's the only thing they struggle against, apparently. Joe Lockup put that tweet out today that against the National League West, the Reds are 9-19. That but against everyone else, they're 30-20. They almost average a full run more per game than they do against the NL West, and they average giving up 2 less runs a game versus the NL West. So we're going to talk about, because after this, you get a little NL West break. Hallelujah. So let's talk about some good things, guys. And Carlos, I'm going to bring you back into the conversation because I got to ask you, Amir Garrett, is he kind of back or is he way back now?
In between those two?
Okay, so he's just back.
Yeah, he's back.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think anybody's like feeling 100% confident whenever he starts that inning. Everybody's kind of like, oh, let's see. He's been throwing well, but still kind of like. But I mean, he's been great.
He's above Doolittle on the depth chart, that's for sure.
Yes.
So am I.
Love you, Sean.
I mean, yeah. So I think, he's been great. He's been awesome. You saw some big outs, obviously, in that Braves series. I looked at the 4 games, and Freddie Freeman only was just incredible for the first game. So, yes, I did jinx that.
You're not allowed to speak Freddie Freeman the rest of the year.
Gosh, why? Just why would you do that?
I don't know, man. I was feeling saucy.
Saucy with not MVPs, like anyone else. Like,
let alone reigning MVPs.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I think Amir's looked really great. It's been exciting to see. Obviously, Luis has been fantastic again. I think the panic is kind of finally going away there. Nick has been pretty well documenting about. I think my Matt Latos comparison, my 2012 Latos comparison is looking better and better by the start. So, yeah, I love how anytime I mention Latos, like we all don't like him, obviously, but Carlos just gets this like chagrin of like, what a guy, right?
Different Latos than you guys do.
Yeah. Oh man. But that turned into Anthony DeSclafani, and we know where that went from there. But that was good. It was good for a few years there.
The Reds hit on all their like not great players that they traded.
Yeah.
Just like didn't hit on any of the like Cueto got nothing back. But man, DeSclafani, and you got Castillo for Straley, and
that's the all-timer. That is the
Suarez for Simon. Those
are Willie Mo Pena for Bronson Arroyo-esque.
What did DeSclafani get this year? Is it a 1-year deal?
1 year,
6 million.
That's tough. Yeah. Him and Iggy. Oof.
9 starts. Right now. 9 starts in 2020 cost him I don't know what. Matt, you might have a better was he probably close to a 15 million AAV. Is that high? Like if he had been a free agent at the end of 2019.
Yeah, that might be a little high, but I mean, he was probably going to make between 10 and 15.
Yeah.
So yeah, those 9 not great starts really cost him some money.
Yeah, man, he would look good right now,
Yeah, he would. We wouldn't necessarily be freaking him out about Vlad Gutierrez and Tony Santillan right now. Tell you what.
Yeah,
guys, Jeff Hoffman's coming back.
Why does everybody keep saying that?
He's going to the bullpen, right?
I don't know.
Oops,
Oh, what a bad time for Vlad to have a rough night with Jeff Hoffman looming. Like,
I mean, they said Lorenzen was coming back and he's going to the bullpen. So why wouldn't they say that he is? I don't know.
True.
Hoffman also went from 2 innings in his first rehab start to 4 innings in his last.
Oh,
so
yeah. Well, Sonny's going to be back on Friday. That's good news, guys. Against this Cubs team who we're starting to see is really coming back down to earth. Are they sellers again though? Are we playing the switch with the Cubs? That seems to be like every other day, depending who you talk to.
It depends how are the Reds doing this year. Like that's what I want to know what I should root for. Like, because if the Reds aren't going anywhere, like I want to root for the Cubs because I want them to have to keep all their pieces and get stuck with them and because I don't think they'll make the playoffs. I think they'll flame out.
Yeah,
unless they make a trade for someone like Yu Darvish at the deadline.
He's busy right now, Nick. He's busy.
I don't see them coming out of it. So yeah, I don't know. If the Reds are going to hang in it, man, I'd love for them to sell. I mean, it'd be another pretty weak opponent you would, be blank. Do you imagine that pitching rotation with a weak lineup if you, ship off Bryant and Contreras?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, Jock Peterson's there, man,
Wow. How bad does letting Kyle Schwarber walk away for Jock Peterson? Like, I mean, we hate on the Reds, but man, the Cubs,
we're not alone here.
They gave away. I mean,
I couldn't imagine what Reds country would be like right now.
I mean, they have a lot more, financial capabilities of the Reds, and they gave away Yu Darvish, and they let Kyle Schwarber walk out. And, man, they yeah, I mean, they're just lucky they've really overachieved this first half, or they would, I think, really be, feeling the wrath of Chicago. I don't know, Matt, do you hear anything there? Are you dialed in yet to the Chicago sports talk?
I'm not too dialed in yet. But their pitching is terrible. Like there's no way that's going to hold up. You could see it at the beginning of the season, looking at their starting rotation. They're not good. Yeah, unless they go out and reacquire Yu Darvish. I mean, I think they're going to collapse in the second half. They're already starting to. So,
yeah, and like Nick said, like it's not like we got to go back a couple of years, but like it's not like the Reds are the only ones in this division. Like I understand the Cardinals got Nolan Arenado, but don't you think right now they could really use Randy Arizona or I always get his last name wrong for Tampa Bay. Rosarena. Yeah. Like, don't you think he would look for like the Cardinals could really use him right now?
I do not think he would look good in a Cardinals uniform, Tim.
You don't think so?
I do not.
I agree. But like, I love that he's not there. But like, my point is that the Reds just keep, they're not the only ones who are like letting things go for nothing. Like Matthew Liberatore. I noticed by your guys' faces, you don't know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, he's pitching for Team USA.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think he's one of their top prospects at least.
I think he's one of the top prospects in baseball, but you still you would have Randy Arena right now,
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I'm just trying to make the point that they're not alone. I guess I won't make points anymore because when I say shit, bad things happen to the Reds.
The Brewers are the only team that I feel like has done well with their moves lately. I mean, the Cardinals literally, if they wouldn't have went and got Arenado, that team would be really bad. I mean, like it's not Arenado's performing, that they're a very, very flawed team. And the Brewers, they just completely went all in on defense and pitching, and it's held up for them so far. I don't know if the Reds could just get into second, even if they're a lot, 6, 7, 8 games back, man, if there's only one team ahead of you, you never know what's going to happen in the second half. And the Reds have a ton of games against the Brewers, and I don't feel like the Brewers' margin of error is that high.
Does Adames have a chance to make the All-Star team, or has it been too little?
If it's only his NL numbers, I mean,
yeah, I feel like every time I see their update, he's doing something.
Yeah, man, that's a hard one. That's
yeah. And the question I asked earlier, why isn't Hunter Green in the Futures game?
Yeah, I haven't figured that out yet.
Because he's going to be on the Reds before then. Can't be in the major leagues and pitch in the Futures game. Come on.
Well, they gave the catcher for the Padres. He got the nod, and he's in the big leagues right now.
Is he in the big leagues right now?
I think so, right? Isn't it the same guy?
I can't imagine they selected someone actively on the big league roster. I know there was someone on there. The guy from Seattle, Jared
Kelenic.
Yeah, he's on there, but he came up and he got sent down.
Yeah, he was.
But I feel like that's really weird. Could you imagine like getting called up to the big leagues, struggling Futures game? Like I feel like that would be kind of a weird vibe. I don't know.
Yeah, I did look up earlier, Carlos. I was wrong. People can play in multiple Futures games. It's not a one-time only invite thing. So
yeah. I'm pretty sure. I thought Joey played in 2.
Yeah, I think he did. Did he get a Futures game MVP? I thought he did.
No.
I don't think he got an MVP, but him and Bruce had a great game in San Francisco.
That's what it was.
It's up on YouTube. It's really awesome watch. If you ever,
Yeah, one of my Votto rookie cards, he's in his Futures game jersey. So it's the Topps debut one. So it's not the cool ones.
Yeah, it's so cool too, because like on that broadcast, they really like talk about, how great these players are. And, they turn out to be Joey Votto and Jay Bruce. It's just, it's really cool to watch back.
Pretty awesome guys.
If you're having a really bad Reds day, that's a good one. good pick me up.
Yeah. So, kind of furthering that, Nick Lodolo gets selected for the Futures game, which apparently he's not too far away from Louisville. If you're kind of reading the tea leaves, we don't have Doug Gray here to confirm that. Matt, have you heard anything additional on that by chance?
I'm not as well connected as Doug, so no, but I'd have to imagine he's close.
Yeah. So, and I guess Austin Hendricks recently, he made his pro debut recently. He hit a homer in his first game. So maybe the prospect thing's looking up, guys. Barrera's in Louisville. Maybe this isn't too bad. Maybe we got some bright spots to look forward to.
Yeah. I mean, they're very, I don't know if top heavy is the right word, but there's 5 or 6 guys who could turn into something legit. And then you have, Hunter Green, who could turn into a legit superstar. So they've got some players there. There's some hope. Offensively, I don't know if you have quite as much potential there. I think, Barrero could definitely be an above average shortstop. But, looking down the line, you want to try to look ahead and see, who's your next, Joey Votto. There's really not that guy. There's not a lot of Joey Vottos, of course, but position player wise, I think they're a little weak, at least at the top of the system. Get a little further down, you get to Hendrick and Reese Hines, Tyler Callahan, guys like that, but they're several years off. So
I'm kind of looking ahead. So the schedule, before we get back together next week, actually weirdly enough, next week is the last week before the All-Star break. So we kind of get to hang out. Yeah, it did come pretty fast. So obviously tomorrow they finish with the Padres in the 7-10 game where David Weathers' son Ryan Weathers is pitching against the Reds. That's pretty cool. And then 3 game set with the Cubs, and then they go to Kansas City to play in Kauffman, which one of my favorite stadiums. I've never been there. I have to go there. It's beautiful on TV. A 4 game set with the Brewers for the All-Star break. So, the Brewers, I mean, for those who don't know a whole lot about the Royals, they are rough. Yeah, they're pretty rough. They're 13 games out of first. They've won 2 of their last 8, and they're on a 7-game losing streak. So you got to feel good about that, not to kind of jinx anything like I do for some reason, the Tim Daniel curse. But I feel pretty optimistic about getting a couple wins in Kansas City.
Hey, they were in first place in the Central for like a good chunk of April, and then they lost
They
10
were.
games in a row. So,
Yeah, they're playing the service time game with Bobby Witt, from what I understand. So
yeah, that's what it looks like. So there's not a lot of reason to watch the Royals right now.
no, unless you really like Salvador Perez, which I love Salvador Perez, but I don't think I'm going to turn on a Royals game just for him.
No. Maybe if Jorge Soler was hitting at all this year, you could go see him hit some bombs, but that's about it.
I'm with you. Guys, anything we want to touch on before we roll this out? Anything I missed that we should touch base on before we close?
Just hope Votto can hit a grand slam tomorrow off of Stormy's kid. I feel like that would be the atonement for the Pujols grand slam. Kind of coming back full circle. Like 12 years later, 13 years later.
I keep looking at the fact that since Pujols is playing for the Dodgers, I'm like, oh god, they gotta go GABP in September. I was like, tell me in his farewell tour he's not gonna have one last gleaming moment at GABP before he hangs it up. I was like, I can't have this, folks. I can't have it.
It tormented us, just
yeah. Well, before we go out of here, for those of you who are catching us on the podcast and not live here on YouTube, first off, obviously want to say thank you for tuning in. We appreciate it. It is official after all the work that Nick and I've been putting in for this. We are officially on Apple Podcasts. We figured it out somehow. I've been podcasting for 13 years. It's been easy to put every other show on. This one, for some reason, they changed everything in my time frame. So we are on Apple Pods. If you want to tune in, if you just want to subscribe there, we would greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate some reviews. That's the way that the algorithm works on Apple. The more reviews, the more attention. So if you guys have a few minutes, want to give us a nice 5-star review on there, that would mean the world to us. Matt, before we close out, obviously, we're so happy you joined us, and thank you for taking some time to talk with us. But before we do get out of here, please take a moment to shout out your social media, where your work can be found, anything you want to by any means, man. The floor is yours.
Cool. So if you want to follow me on Twitter for whatever reason, handle is _ Matt Wilks. It's ES. A lot of people try to spell it WILKS. Got to throw the E in there. Yeah, you can find all my work at Reds Content Plus. We've got a lot of great writers over there, cranking out stuff every week. So go check that out. My buddy Steve Mancuso and I also started a morning newsletter that runs every morning except Sunday. And yeah, so we're just breaking down, Reds news, pitching matchups, a quick recap from the night before. We go into a stat of the day. So it's just $5 a month, just run through the end of the season. So it's like $15 for the rest of the season. So if you want to subscribe, we would really appreciate it. You can also just become a free member and get the first few issues for free. Try us out. If you like us, you can become a full-time member. So that's all I got.
Nice, man. Well, it's awesome stuff. So yeah, everyone check out the newsletter, check out Reds Content Plus. And yeah, Nick, Carlos, and I will be here every Wednesday churning these out for you. So if you can't make it, like we said, Apple, Stitcher, Spotify, we're everywhere now. We're getting out. We're expanding in the podcast world. So thank you all for all your support. It's been awesome to have people in the chat each and every week. And Sydney, we did see your thing. We can maybe work something out about having a podcast statistician. We'll see what we can do.